Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Jaggy Gangat and thank you for signing up and registering in this online video course program where I will be helping you grow and kickstart your business and help you build a good client base at little to no cost in less than a week. So, before we start, I would like to tell you a short story about my experience before when I was just starting out. So, when I was starting out as a photographer and as a filmmaker, as a commercial director, what I did was every day I created images and I edited them and I posted them on my Facebook wall and on my Facebook page and on Facebook groups, on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm sure that you do that as well in whatever field and endeavors that you are into. Now, don't get me wrong. Never underestimate that kind of strategy because that has helped me grow and expand my career. But if only I had knew about this program, about this technique that I'm about to teach you, I might have grown and expanded my career and my business way faster and further than expected. So, without further ado, I would like to help you and teach you this method that I wished I was able to learn way before a few years ago. Is this video course for you? Well, let me ask you a simple question. Are you lost? If you are, then don't worry. I'm here to help you find the right path specifically for you. Alright, so let's begin. Now, before you launch your set of products or services, it is important for you to understand first three things. The first one is your market. Who are your target market? Now, think about this. Make a wish list or make a list of the characteristics and traits of your perfect customer. I would suggest that you give your perfect customer an identity or a persona. How do you do that? Well, first, you can define their age, you can define their locations, you can define basically their entire demographics, their hobbies, their interests, and their spending behaviors. Now, location as well, their religion, their beliefs, their goals, their aspirations, consider those things because it is important that you define and specify as much as possible your perfect customer. Now, one of the best ways that you can do that is give your perfect customer, a name. So you can name them anything you want at all as long as it relates to your perfect customer, right? Now, once you have defined that, next thing you have to know is where they are hanging out. One of the best reasons that you need to know and understand where they are hanging out is because for practicality reasons. You don't need to go far and wide. You don't need to market your services and products to everybody because basically all you need to do is find a niche. Now, what is a niche? Basically, think about this. People of the same interests, they congregate together, they group themselves together, they form groups, they form communities based on a certain common interest. If you are selling products or services within those interests, then you already know that your fans or your audiences group themselves together. It's just a matter now of locating where they are. And I will show you later how you can do that. Now, the next step that you need to consider when understanding and defining your market is you have to know what they want. What they want, their desires, their goals, and their ambitions. And more specifically, you have to understand their problems and their pain points. Because by doing so, by understanding their wants and their desires and their problems and their pain points, you can easily serve them a solution. So for example, put me as your client in the design industry. Let's say I want to have the best billboard ad for my campaign. Now that you know that I want the best billboard ad, you wouldn't give me mediocre work, right? So you would be giving me the best package because that is what I want. Now what I need is basically your services or your products. Remember, people don't like to be sold to, but they like to buy. Now what do they like to buy? People like to buy what they want. So, by giving that analysis, do not sell people what they need. Sell people the idea of what they want and what they desire. Likewise, if they have a problem, of course they want to solve their problem. They want their problem solved. Now, if you have the solution, sell the solution. Okay? In order for your customers to get what they want, you have to give them what they need. Basically, what they need is you. Just make sure that you sell them first what they want. Sell them the idea of their desires, right? Now, once you have considered those ideas, once you have considered those data, those factors, and those fundamentals, you can now then develop your product, or basically your services as well, if you are in the services industry. Now, by understanding these three things, you can start designing, you can start tweaking, you can start creating your products or your services that hit the right spots. Now, if your products or services hit the right spot, hit the right desires, or hit the right problems, then tendency, people will go to you. Now, imagine this. If you have a back pain, where do you go? You go to masseuse, right? Or you go to the doctor. It depends on how painful your back is, right? But you get the idea. So if you know someone has the solution, you yourself go to them, correct? If you already have this set of products, or if you've already built your services and you cannot do any more modifications, what you can modify based on these factors is your ad copy. Your ad copy or your sales letter. Your ad copies or your sales letter are basically your message, your brand's message. They are the tools that convince and convey your message that you can give your customers what they want. So make sure that you have a good set of ad copies or a well-written sales letter. All right? Now, you might be asking and wondering, Jaggy, how exactly can I find my target market? Where are they actually hanging out? Well, I'm gonna show you a simple, really awesome tool that you can use to find where they are hanging out. Ready? I'll go to your browser, type in www.google.com. Well, go to Google, search your keyword, search the keyword or the niche market that you are targeting, and add the word group at the end, or add the word forum, or add the word community. And then from there, you'll see a list of tons and dozens of groups, forums, and communities where your audiences are hanging out. Now, so far, we have not yet spent a dime developing these. So let's move on. Now, the next tool I want to show you to help you find where your audiences are hanging out, aside from www.google.com, is by understanding and by asking help from our competitors without talking to them. So to put it shortly, in this case, our competitors become our friend without them actually knowing, because they are providing us the data that we need in order for us to tap into their market and to know where their market are. How do we do that? Let's go to your browser again. Type in www.similarwebs.com/website/ then input your competitor's website URL. And when you go there, you can see tons and tons of data regarding where your competitors' market are hanging out and where their traffic sources are coming from. Now, isn't that awesome? So, okay, let's move on. Now, for this particular system that I am going to show you, it is very important that you have a website. But don't get me wrong, you don't need the most expensive or the most well-designed website that you can get your hands on. If you have the budget, then by all means. But again, you don't need a super duper awesome nice website. You just need a simple website. Now, if you have no budget, if you don't have enough budget to get a website, there are several free website builders that you can use and tap on for your business, right? So, Why is a website important? Well, technically not an entire website, but a web page, or what I'd like to call is a catch page. Now, what is a catch page? A catch page is basically where your audiences will go through. Always, whenever you are posting, whenever you are sharing your content, or whenever you are doing some marketing, always have a call to action. Always direct your potential audiences somewhere off of Facebook, or off of YouTube, or off of Instagram, or off of any social media platform, and redirect them either to your website. Now, why is that? Because again, guys, you have to understand that social media platforms were built for specific reasons. Facebook is a social media platform for social engagement, for networking. People on Facebook, they keep on scrolling just for the sake of, catching up and keeping up with whatever pages that or friends that they follow. People on Facebook don't necessarily go to Facebook to buy things. But if you redirect them off of Facebook, then you are triggering the mindset that they are now out of a social media platform, and you have rewired their brains to do something else, which is basically on your website. Make sense? So, the important elements that you need for a catch page is the first, headline. A headline basically will come from the ad copy and the sales letter that you have just written. The other important factor that you need inside a catch page is a sign-up form. Now, what is a sign-up form? Well, basically, sign-up form is where people input their name, their email addresses, and their mobile numbers, or their mobile numbers to you in exchange of something of value. Now, what can they be? It can be practically anything. You can give out free stuff, you can give out free value, or you can give out basically anything for free that is of value to your audiences in exchange of their contact details. I will tell you why that is important. What kind of free valuable stuff can you give to your audiences, to your potential audiences? Well, you can give something that is of free value based on their wants, desires, problems, and pain points. So again, you see how important and how crucial understanding these things are, because later on I will be explaining how everything else later on comes back to these three, right? Before I show you the importance of the reason of having a sign-up form, I would like to show you and explain and teach you the three types of traffic. What is traffic? Basically, traffic are the sources where your target market are coming from. Now remember, if you were able to go to similarwebs.com, the tool that I taught you, you will see where your competitors' audiences are coming from. That is the traffic, basically. So we have three types of traffic. The first is the traffic that you control. What is the traffic that you control? The traffic that you control basically comes from all the marketing and advertising and PR efforts that you have done specifically inside or within a community or within a niche. Now remember the where. Now that is most likely where your traffic is coming from, because you know where your audiences are hanging out online. Tendency is that these are the traffic sources that your audiences will come from. Understood? Now, the next type of traffic is the traffic that you don't control. Now, what is the traffic that you can control? Well, basically, the traffic that you control, that you don't control, comes from SEO, or search engine optimization, or from referrals, or from blog posts or articles that refer your website, or from people who basically go to Google to search for a certain keyword. And your website, if your SEO is done right, your website might happen to be one of the top 10 searches online. Now, if you have a good SEO and if you rank amongst the top 10 Google searches for that specific keyword, then tendency that the person searching for that keyword might go to your website. Now, that is traffic that you do not control. Now you have understood the two types of traffic. It is important and again paramount that all of the traffic sources, whether you control them or you don't control them, they go to your catch page. Again, catch page is where you catch your audiences. It's where basically you trap your audiences or you invite them to become a part of your own community. Right? How does that work? Basically, once your traffic, controlled or not controlled, goes to your web page, again, they sign up. Now, once they sign up and they have given you their email addresses, their name, and sometimes their contact details, their mobile numbers, then they all become a part of your database. Now, the third type of traffic and the most important amongst all three is the traffic that you own. What is a traffic that you own? Well, a traffic that you own is basically your database. It means that from the niche, from the location or from the area or from the group or community that your target market belongs to, you have now placed them in a much more controlled environment wherein you can interact. Now, what is the advantage of having a database? Well, basically, now that you have their contact details, it is like you are able to connect directly towards them. You can send out campaigns, you can send out email, you can send out newsletters to build your credibility, to build your relationship with them, to engage with them. And eventually, once they have become really engaged with you, that's the time you can now sell products and your services with them. Now, one more advantage of having a good database, and if you have built a good relationship with your potential audiences, then you can resell to them over and over and over again. The bigger your database are, the more you can sell your products or your services to them. Now, take note, I mentioned potential customers. Now, just because these audiences that came from traffics that you either control or don't control, just because they are inside your database does not automatically make them your customer. These are potential leads, basically. Now, what are leads? Leads basically are this one. They are potential prospects and they are called leads. Now, I want to show you the three types of leads. There are three types of leads. The first type of lead is the cold lead. Now, what are cold leads? Cold leads basically are those people who know nothing about you, who know nothing about your products or your services, and sometimes they are not aware of their desires or they are not aware of their problems. Therefore, they don't know that you are a solution. Understood? The second type of lead is the warm lead. Now, what is a warm lead? A warm lead is basically a lead that you have already sort of engaged with. They already know you. They might already know your product or your services, but are not yet good enough to buy from you. They are not qualified enough yet to buy your products or services. Now, the third type of lead, which I've already mentioned, is the qualified lead. Now, what are qualified leads? Qualified leads are basically the type of leads or the potential customers who are most likely to buy your products or services. Understood? Now, remember, the bigger your list, the bigger the chances that a lot of the potential prospects and customers in your database will eventually buy from you. So to help you further identify what types of leads your potential prospect customers are, and I've drawn a line graph to help you better understand the temperature of your leads. So to start, we have here the cold, the warm, and the qualified. Usually, cold leads are totally unaware. Again, like I mentioned, they are unaware of your brand, they are unaware of your product, they are unaware of your services, and they are unaware of the problems or the desires that they have, that you might have solutions to offer. Now, once you have raised little brand awareness about who you are and what services or products you have to offer, tendency is they are already problem aware, meaning that they are already aware of their own problems, but they still don't know yet that you are a solution. But they are on the right track, because remember, your goal is to turn cold leads into warm leads and eventually turn them into qualified leads. Later, I will be telling you the importance of qualified leads. Now, once you have sort of engaged and interacted with your audiences and they are already aware of the problem, the next step for them, or the next indication that they have become warm leads, is if they are now solution aware, meaning that they are already more aware of your existence, of your brand, of your products and services. They are already aware and they already know that you can help solve their problems. But tendency, warm leads again are not yet super qualified for them to purchase your brands or your products or your services. Why? Because for a lot of reasons. There might be, it might be based on the pricing, or you have other competitors who offer better value than you. So tendency, warm leads are still don't have the full decision to purchase from you, and that is why you build more engagement. If you are aware that they are not likely to buy yet from you, then you have to do is build more engagement. Okay? So once you have built more engagement with them, and you further warm them up, then the next step is they are product aware. Now, because at this stage you should have introduced your product and your services well, that will help them get what they want, which is probably their desires or a solution to their problems. Right? Once they are product aware, once they are product or solution aware, it means that they are on the right path. They are almost there before they become qualified leads. Qualified leads, that they are qualified leads is if they are totally aware about who you are, about what you do, about your brand, about your products, about your services, and about the solutions that you can provide them. Now, what is the advantage of having tons and tons of qualified leads? Well, first and foremost, aside from them being the most possible candidates of buying from you, is they are most likely to be your loyal customers. Having a good client base, a good set of loyal customers is enough for you to run your business. And it is enough for you to live doing what you love. Why is that? Because if you have a lot of loyal customers who keep buying from you on a regular basis, basically you can already survive. Okay, now since there are different types of leads, of course there are different approaches in terms of marketing and advertising, and in terms of engaging with them. So how do you do that? Well, the first one, if you have considered and identified a lead as a cold lead, if a cold lead or if the lead knows nothing and only seeks about their problem, then your headline should be, the headline, again, going back to your ad copy or your sales letter that you have created because you know what they want, your headline should start with the problem first and then end with a solution. For example, if we are in the shampoo industry, or if, for example, I am selling shampoo and you are my client and you are my target customer, and I know that you have a problem with dandruff, my headline could be simply as dandruff, question mark. So, because I know that you have a problem with dandruff and because I have the solution, I can just state the problem because you yourself, you want a solution for your problem. So by stating a headline that strikes your problem, you have tendency is you might click on it or you might engage with what I might be offering, despite even though you don't know who I am or what I offer. Correct? Make sense? Okay, so what about warm leads? Guys, remember, I want you to understand that every type of lead has different approaches. So for warm leads, you have, again, a different approach when it comes to your headline or your ad copies or your sales letter. So for warm leads, if lead is not aware of the product but only cares about their desires, then your headline should focus on their desires. So for example, going back, if I am selling shampoo or if I am in the shampoo industry and your desire is to grow your hair longer, assuming that our audiences are females within the age of 16 to 24 who wants longer hair, then our headline could be as simple as grow your hair 2 inches every day. I know that sounds a bit impossible, but do you understand? Do you get? So the more you understand, the more you know who your audiences are, the more you know their desires, and the more you know their demographics, the more you know about them, the better you can tailor your ad copies and your headlines. Make sense? So again, now what about qualified leads? Qualified leads, again, we have a different approach for them, and you might be surprised what the headline is about. So, if the lead is aware of the product and cares, and remember, and cares about their desires, then simply start your headline with your product, because they're already aware about what you do, or they are already aware about your product and they want that desire. So your headline, if for example the name of my shampoo is Water Silk Shampoo, then you can already start your headline with your product. Water Silk Shampoo, growing your hair every day. Simple as that, correct? Now, because your audiences are aware of what you do and what they're already aware of your product, it is easier for you to sell to them. Again, it goes back again to the first point, is knowing what they want. So you see, guys, do you see now the relationship that I have just taught you? Do you see and do you understand why the first part, knowing your market, knowing where they are, is very, very important? And again, you can only have these. You can only have these things if you have researched your market. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can play around with. This system. Basically, there are a lot of ways that you can play around with this strategy. It depends on where you are right now. So I want you to analyze. I want you to assess yourself where in this strategy you are at already. Now, I hope that this has enlightened you more about the importance of understanding first the fundamentals and the basics of your business in order for you to build a good client base. Here's what I want you to do now. Based on what you have learned, based on what I have taught you, I want you to start to execute. The moment you stop this video, I want you to write down, I want you to plan, I want you to strategize and execute. Because practically, given what I have shown you, we have not spent anything at all. Now, the advantage of this is, primarily one of the reasons why I am heavy and focusing all my strengths and all my energy and all our budget with online marketing is because it is really, really inexpensive, cheap. But it does not mean that you can scale your business without spending anything. Of course, the more you spend on marketing, the more you spend on these things, the better results that you can get. Right? So the second thing I want you to do now is, if you found this video course really valuable, I want to invite you to the next program where I will be teaching you tons and tons of more things that can help you scale and grow your business. Because everything I have taught you today in this video is just a tiny, tiny small part of the entire blueprint. Now, what is this blueprint? The blueprint is basically all the essential tools that you need. More in depth, we will discover, and I will be teaching you more about web pages, more about email campaigns, more about email marketing, and so on and so forth to help you grow your business. Well, basically, this blueprint is a step-by-step process, a step-by-step guide that will help you and equip you with the proper tools, and knowledge and the tactics in order for you to grow your business from scratch to a successful and thriving business. Well, of course, I cannot guarantee the success because everything, all the results depend on your effort and on your mindset. So, in the next program, what I will be teaching you, we will be taking a step back, but a very, very important step back for your business. The first thing that I'm going to teach you in the next program is, first, how to start a business, how to properly start a business in order for you to save you tons of money on failures. You have to make sure that your planning is very well thought of in order for you to avoid future mistakes along the way. Now, part of this lecture, part of this module is helping you and letting you realize that you don't need yet to register your business to start a company. Now, the second thing that I'm going to teach you in the next program is the power of value and leadership. Now, why is that important? Because value, by understanding how value works, you are able now to position yourself as an industry expert, and you are able to position yourself in a more favorable, you are able to put yourself in a more favorable position in your market, which means you can up your price without being too pricey because you are valuable. Now, the third module that you can learn from the next program is how to price. How to price in a sense that you are able to price your products or services appropriately and properly for you not to lose money. The fourth module that you learn in the next program is a more in-depth course on marketing, understanding the marketing process, basically the marketing funnel, and how you can apply and how you can scale your business by applying these methods and by understanding the process it takes for you to achieve your business goals. Now, aside from that, I will also be throwing in a bonus video course where I will be explaining the entire system so you have an understanding of how the system works and why it is very, very effective, especially for your business, no matter what field, what creative field and industry you are in. Now, should you be interested and should you be really serious about your career in business, please do click on the link below to learn more about it. I promise you and I guarantee you that you will receive tons and tons of value because, again, my goal for you is to help you be successful in your business and for you to achieve your first million, if you haven't reached it yet, this year. So there you have it. I hope you have learned something really, really valuable in this video course that can help you kickstart your business and help you build a good client base at little to no cost in less than a week. So again, my name is Jaggy Gangat and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.